Namaskar. The topic of discussion is on mid-ocean ridges. The study of ocean floor has been made through various underwater expeditions and explorations. These underwater explorations have shown very contrasting and spectacular features inside the seas and oceans. When there is a tsunami, everyone will say that it is due to the origin of earthquakes below the sea floors. It is also a fact that the Earth's tectonic processes are happening along the plate boundaries. These boundaries are very distinct lithological portions existing below the seas and oceans. The modern ocean floor maps have provided enormous opportunities to understand these underwater features. They also helped us to know the theories behind the Earth's ongoing tectonic processes. Oceans' morphological features vary with reference to their site, location, origin, morphology, lithology and dynamics of the water masses. The general profile of oceans include the continental shelf, the continental slope and the deep ocean basins. Each one of these have their own variations in spread, depth, slope and hydrodynamics. The life in the marine waters depend on the depth, air-sea interactions, radiation, hydrodynamics, morphology and the physico-chemical conditions of the oceans. The circulation of ocean waters, waves and currents, the interaction of oceans with the atmosphere, all of these have very significant effects on the weather and climate of the entire globe. There are several kinds of distinct and most striking features observed on the ocean bottoms. These underwater relief features are very essential to our human understanding about the earth, oceans, oceanic crust, tectonic processes and their impacts. Among them, the mid-ocean ridges are very unique structures. The mid-ocean ridges, as the name implies, exist mostly in the middle of the ocean basins where the divergent plate boundaries are located. The theory of plate tectonics has indicated many major tectonic processes which also include the release of convection currents along divergent plate boundaries, the origin of mid-ocean ridges and the spreading of the sea floor. All these processes are everlasting phenomena on the planet Earth. A basic understanding of the mid-ocean ridges is necessary not only for oceanographic point of view, but also for general knowledge point of view. In this episode, the following aspects of geological oceanography are highlighted: ocean relief features, mid-oceanic ridges, formation of oceanic ridges, distribution of oceanic ridges and the importance of oceanic ridges. Let us see the first one, ocean relief features. The painstaking ocean floor mapping project of Bruce Heezen and Mary Thorpe after the Second World War has shown the distinguishing underwater features of the world's oceans. It is really a thought-provoking, highly heterogeneous relief system which has been seen below the seas and oceans. The profile of the oceans has shown innumerable curves, dips, ridges, valleys, mountains, plateaus, trenches, fractures and canyons. The following are the major kinds of features that have been observed based on the ocean floor expeditions and explorations which have been conducted during the last 100 years. They are the oceanic abyssal plains, the oceanic trenches, the oceanic plateaus, the oceanic fracture zones, the sea mounds and the mid-ocean ridges. An abyssal plain is an underwater plain located on the deep ocean floor. It is usually found at depths between 3000 meters and 6000 meters. These are the flattest, smoothest and least explored regions on the planet Earth. Abyssal plains lie generally between the foot of a continental rise and a mid-ocean ridge. Oceanic trenches are long, narrow topographic depressions of the seabed. They are the boundary zones of lithospheric plates. An oceanic trench is a type of convergent boundary at which two lithospheric slabs meet. Trenches are generally parallel to the volcanic arcs. Oceanic trenches extend 3 to 4 kilometers deeper below the level of the surrounding ocean floor. The greatest depth is seen at the Challenger Deep of the Marianas Trench in the northwest Pacific Ocean. It extends up to a depth of 11,022 meters below the sea level. There are about 30 notable trenches existing in different oceans of the globe. The oceanic plateau is a large, relatively flat region under the marine waters. They rise well above the average level of the seabed. There are about 16 oceanic plateaus existing in different regions of the oceans. Sea mounds are yet another features. A sea mound is an underwater mountain rising from the ocean floor. It does not reach the water surface in some places, hence it is not an island. Some of them are formed from extinct volcanoes. A sea mound rises from 1000 meters to 4000 meters depth of water. There are about 100,000 sea mounds existing across the globe. Submarine canyons are long, narrow and deep valleys cutting across the continental shelves and slopes. The depth of these canyons may range from 600 meters to 3000 meters. Among these oceanic features, the mid-ocean ridges are the most remarkable features existing along the divergent plate boundaries. These are underwater mountain chains. They are not similar to the mountains of continents. The mid-oceanic ridges cover about 23% of the Earth's surface. Their origin, extent and distribution are essential aspects to be studied in oceanography and physical geography. Let us see the mid-ocean ridges. One of the most striking features of the ocean floor is the distribution of mid-ocean ridges. These ridges are mountain-like structures standing well above the deep ocean floors. The mid-ocean ridges are in total 65,000 kilometers long and cover almost 23% of the Earth's surface. These are considered as the world's largest mountain ranges existing below the marine waters. They exist as chains in the center of the oceanic basins. These are rugged features. They stand 1 to 3 kilometers above the deep ocean floors. The most prominent feature of a ridge is its steep-sided central valley called as the rift valley. A rift valley may be 25 to 50 kilometers wide and 1 to 2 kilometers deep in its profile. The rift valley of a mid-oceanic ridge is bordered by rugged mountains with the tallest peaks. These peaks may rise up to 2 kilometers above the sea surface as seen in some locations. Upwelling of molten mantle rock has created these rift zones. The mid-oceanic ridges are formed along the boundary between two divergent tectonic plates. These zones are tectonically active regions. Hence, small earthquakes occur very frequently on the crests of mid-ocean ridges. These earthquakes coincide with the location of the central rift valleys. They are the most active volcanic regions on the Earth also. At the mid-oceanic ridges, two plates move away from each other. This process is called as sea floor spreading, and it creates a new sea floor every time. Ocean basins were formed through such breakup of continents and movement of plates. Thick continental crust was subjected to heat flow from the Earth's interior. When the warm mantle expands, the continental crust is domed and stretched away from each other, thereby forming the rift valleys. Some form of thermal convection within the asthenosphere appears to create a new lithosphere at the center of the ridges and rises. This simultaneously made the old lithosphere back into the mantle to be subducted beneath the oceanic trench systems. The spreading rates of mid-ocean ridges may be 2 to 3 centimeters per year. A mid-ocean ridge has a steeper and more irregular topography as a result of a low spreading rate. The ridge consists of a high central axial zone with a narrow crest. The mid-ocean ridges and rises are offset by rugged fault scars which are called as fracture zones. These linear bands of mountains and troughs intersect all oceanic ridges at intervals in right angles. The system of mid-ocean ridges ranks with the continents and ocean basins as one of the three main units exposed at the Earth's surface. These three units are the topography, structure, aerial extent and the geological importance. The mid-Atlantic ridge is the best known example in the world. It is 40,000 miles long, encircling the whole world. The mid-Atlantic ridge is centrally located between the eastern and western margins of the Atlantic Ocean. It is also about 2000 kilometers wide. It is elongated in a general north-south direction and follows a sinuous course roughly parallel to the present coastlines. With reference to aerial extent, it is 1/3 of the entire Atlantic Ocean. Let us see the third important aspect, the formation of oceanic ridges. The mid-ocean ridges are characteristics of seafloor spreading processes. These are very active zones wherein a new magma is expected to emerge on the ocean floor regularly. There are two processes responsible for the ocean floor spreading mechanism. One is the ridge push mechanism and the other one is the slab pull mechanism. The ridge push occurs when the ridge pushes the tectonic plate away from the ridge, often towards the subduction zone. At the subduction zone, slab pull effect comes into existence. The other process is the mantle conveyor mechanism. Mid-oceanic ridges form the new oceanic crust in these processes. Convection currents from the mantle moves up as magma and leaves through weak zones as volcanic eruptions, creating new crust upon cooling. These are called as mid-ocean ridge basalts. The rocks making up the crust below the seafloor are the youngest at the axis of the ridge. Most oceanic crust in the ocean basins is less than 200 million years old. The crust is in a state of constant renewal at the oceanic ridges. Moving away from the ridges, the depth of the ocean increases progressively. The greatest depths are seen in the ocean trenches. After Alfred Wegener proposed the concept of theory of continental drift in 1912, the mid-ocean ridges are continuously tearing open the ocean floors and make the magma to erupt from the deep interior. Later, the theory of plate tectonics provided a better understanding of the movements of plates, spreading of the ocean floors, underwater volcanic eruptions, and enough information of mid-oceanic ridges. It is also found that 20 volcanic eruptions occur every year along these mid-oceanic ridges. It is also seen that every year about 2.5 square kilometer of new sea floor is formed by this process. With a crustal thickness of 1 to 2 kilometers, this amounts to about 4 cubic kilometer of new oceanic crust formed every year. Let us see the fourth aspect, that the distribution of mid-oceanic ridges. The mid-oceanic ridges are distributed in almost all major oceans of the world. They range from the longest mid-Atlantic ridge of one ocean floor to a small ridge of another ocean. The Atlantic Ocean has the following notable mid-oceanic ridges. The mid-Atlantic ridge is the world famous ridge. It is the longest one in the world. It divides the Atlantic in the middle along the plate boundary. Its alignment is broken near the equator. It starts from Iceland from the north and ends near the Rowett Island near the Antarctica. The mid-Atlantic ridge is exactly following the boundary of coastlines and continental margins on both sides of the ocean. The mid-Atlantic ridge is flanked by many ocean basins. The next one is the Reykjanes ridge. The Reykjanes ridge exists in the Reykjanes basin near Iceland as the starting point of mid-Atlantic ridge. Its continuity has been broken by a fracture zone. The Madeira ridge is a small oceanic ridge located near Madeira, west of Morocco. The Atlantic Indian ridge is another one. The Atlantic Indian ridge is existing at the southern end of mid-Atlantic ridge. It is about 2000 kilometers long. It is located along the northern boundary of the Atlantic Indian Basin. The South Scotia ridge is yet another one. The South Scotia ridge is located near the southern tip of South America in the Scotia Sea. The Zapiola ridge is yet another one in the Atlantic Ocean. The Zapiola ridge is a small ridge in the Argentine Basin east of Argentina. The America Antarctica ridge is another important ridge existing in the southern parts of Atlantic Ocean. The America Antarctica ridge is located in the southern ocean north of Antarctica. It has a northeast southwest alignment. It is 1500 kilometers long. Next comes the Astrid ridge. The Astrid ridge is a small ridge located in the Lazarev Sea of Antarctica. It is at the southern part of the Atlantic Indian Basin. The Parnaíba ridge is a minor ridge located near the equator in the West Atlantic and east of Amazon Delta. Belam ridge is yet another one in the Atlantic Ocean. The Seward ridge is located in the western end of Atlantic Ocean near the equator. The Barracuda ridge is located north of Barbados. The Blake Bahama ridge is yet another one in the Atlantic. The Blake Bahama ridge is located closer to the Bahamas in the West Atlantic. The Eyrick ridge is a minor oceanic ridge located in the North Atlantic region, especially it is existing near the south of Greenland. The West Scotia ridge is located in the western parts of Scotia Sea. The Newfoundland ridge is yet another one. The Newfoundland ridge is located in the northwest Atlantic Ocean near Newfoundland. The Walvis ridge is another important one. The Walvis ridge is located in the southern Atlantic west of Namibia of South Africa. The Hatton ridge is yet another one. The Hatton ridge is parallel to the Reykjanes ridge in the Iceland Basin. The Pacific Ocean has the following notable ridges. The Gorda ridges are located west of North America near Cascade mountain ranges. The Kyushu Palau ridge is located in the middle of Philippine Sea. The South Honshu ridge is another one. West Norfolk ridge and Norfolk ridge are located near the Norfolk Island of Australia. The Kermadec ridge is located along the western parts of Southwest Pacific Basin. Robbie ridge is located to the southwest of Phoenix Islands. It is a north-south trending ridge. It is parallel to the Kermadec Trench. The Hawaiian ridge is located northwest of Hawaii. The Christmas Ridge and the Necker Ridge are in the Central Pacific Basin southwest of Hawaii. The Tehuantepec Ridge is located in the Guatemala Basin south of Salina Cruz. The Colon Ridge exists in the southern parts of Guatemala Basin between North and South America in the East Pacific. The Pacific Antarctica Ridge is in the middle of the Southern Ocean. It is an east-west trending ridge. The Nazca Ridge is located west of South America near Peru-Chile Trench. The Society Ridge and Tuamotu Ridge are in the middle of the Pacific Ocean near Society Islands. It is in the southern hemisphere. The Macquarie Ridge is along the boundary between Southern Ocean and the Tasman Sea and south of New Zealand. The Caroline Ridge is located near the Challenger Deep of the Marianas Trench. The Galapagos Ridge is located west of South America near the Andes. Let us see the ridges of Indian Ocean. The ridges of Indian Ocean are the following. The 90 East Ridge is the first one. It is a north-south trending ridge located in the middle of Cocos Basin and Mid-Indian Basin. It starts from the Andaman Sea in the north and extends up to the Broken Ridge in the south. It runs parallel to the longitude 90 degrees east. Let us see the importance of oceanic ridges. The alignments of the ridges have some common trends. The ridges are structurally displaced due to transform faults. Their alignments are cut across by a series of transform faults. The horizontal displacement along the zones bring more opportunities to expose the crustal weaknesses. The length of volcanic vents or pipes may be shortened, and due to this, more convection currents may emanate rapidly. Due to this process, the rising of magma could be more easy. When there is subduction along the convergent boundaries, we get ocean trenches. Below the zones of subduction, the materials get crushed away and may be melted. This zone of crushing is known as Benioff zone. The scientists believe